My niece is terrified by something no one can see. Now I've seen it too. I was babysitting my niece one night while her parents went out for a well-deserved date night. They live in the basement of an old house where the low ceilings and dim lighting give everything a heavy, shadowed look. At first, things were fine. She was laughing, pushing her toy car across the carpet, making little vroom sounds as it skidded along. I watched her, amused, letting her energy fill the quiet room. But then, mid-laugh, she froze. Her gaze drifted to an empty corner across the room, her mouth slowly opening as if she'd seen something terrible. Then, without warning, she started screaming. The sound was raw, piercing, as if she were in pain. She scrambled into my lap, clawing at my shirt, her little fingers trembling. I held her tightly, feeling her heart pound against mine as she buried her face in my shoulder. Her cries echoed off the walls, and as I tried to calm her, I found myself glancing at the corner too, feeling a creeping sense of dread that had no reason to be there. "Ellie, there's nothing there," I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady as I rocked her gently in my arms. She clung to me, her tiny fists clutching my shirt as her eyes stayed locked on the dark, empty corner. I looked over again, forcing myself to focus, trying to see what could possibly be frightening her so much. Shadows lingered there, but nothing more. I kept speaking softly, and after a while, her grip loosened, her cries quieting to small hiccups as her gaze finally drifted back to me. I breathed a small sigh of relief and turned her away from that corner, cradling her head against my shoulder and talking about her favorite toys, anything to distract her. But then her little body tensed, and her gaze snapped back over my shoulder to that same spot. This time, her scream was louder, more desperate, a sound that cut through me. She struggled in my arms, twisting to look at the corner as if something there was reaching out, pulling her in. Her gaze was fixed on the exact same spot, unwavering, wide with terror. Against all my better judgment, I turned to look, my eyes following hers to the empty, shadowed corner. The basement light buzzed softly, casting faint shadows, but there was nothing, only the bare wall and darkened space where two edges met. Yet, as I stared, goosebumps prickled up my arms and across the back of my neck. Ellie's little fingers dug into me, clutching with surprising strength, her nails pressing almost painfully into my skin. Her whole body was tense, coiled with fear I couldn't explain away. They say children are more sensitive to things we've long since blocked out, that they see what we can't, that they're open to things beyond understanding. The thought crept into my mind, gnawing at my sense of reason, and with it, a cold, uneasy fear took root. I couldn't see anything, couldn't hear or feel a thing, but the look on Ellie's face told me she was seeing something that I couldn't, something that terrified her down to her core. I decided it would be best to take her upstairs, so I grabbed a few of her toys and we left, heading upstairs to the living room. The stairs creaked as we climbed, Ellie clinging to me, her head buried in my shoulder as if hiding from whatever had haunted that corner. I kept talking, my voice low and steady, hoping it would keep both of us calm. By the time we reached the living room, her grip had relaxed, and I was able to set her down gently on the couch. I turned on the TV and put on Dora the Explorer, her favorite. Slowly, she seemed to forget about the basement, her eyes brightening as she started singing along with the familiar theme song. Relief washed over me as she began to play with her toys again, her laughter filling the room and pushing the eerie silence from my mind. I headed into the kitchen, glancing back occasionally to make sure she was okay. Opening the cupboard, I grabbed a can of soup and popped it into the microwave. The soft hum of the microwave was oddly comforting, grounding me after the strange, tense moments in the basement. Just as the timer ticked down, I heard a faint, familiar sound, a quiet whimper from the living room. I turned around, and there was Ellie, standing frozen in front of the TV, her wide eyes staring back down the hall toward the basement door. I rushed over, glancing down the hall into the empty darkness lingering at the top of the basement stairs. The shadows seemed thicker somehow, pressing against the doorway like a solid weight. For Ellie's sake, I tried to stay calm, smiling as I knelt down and reassured her, even though my voice felt shaky. "Let me just close the door, all right?" I said, my words more for my own reassurance than hers. I headed down the hall, each step making my pulse quicken. I kept telling myself it was nothing, that I was only spooked because of Ellie's fear, but the closer I got, the heavier the air seemed to grow.